What is up, guys? A very good morning and welcome to a new daily market outlook for Thursday, October the 26th. In today's market outlook, of course, the major dollar pairs and gold. So looking at the dollar index, first of all, what can we see? Well, we've seen a great and amazing push in towards the upside. As we can see, pretty much we did end up reacting to this area of demand located over here inside this area of consolidation. Of course, it was preferable that we moved in towards this area of demand here with the liquidation upon this low and then that big reversal. But despite that, pretty much the trend line which we drew in yesterday's market outlook for the 1, the 2 and the third touch, created that reversal in towards the highs. And this is the exact reason why these descending channels and wedges are so extremely powerful. So we can clearly see that we have a very, very strong descending wedge, the 1, 2, 3 pushing towards the highs, and we have now seen that break of structure. Yesterday we were located inside of this area of supply, but we can see, okay, we get that initial bearish reaction, but it just pushed price in towards the area of demand down below over here. And from there, eventually demand prevailed and pushed price higher to create that new break of structure. And this is the area of demand, which pretty much took out this area of supply. And let's say all these liquidity highs, which are positioned over here, which we drew in yesterday, we can see, okay, tapping towards this supply zone. Straight away that bearish reaction. But then, guys, what you want to see when you get in towards that area of supply and see supply, let's say, be validated and the, let's say, bearish bias hold, so we can see a push down in towards the area of demand and see that liquidation occur, well, then we need structure to change. What happened? Well, structure did not change because the bullish structure stayed intact. Simple tap back in towards demand. Of course, I'm not going to go long on the dollar index itself here, but we do keep in mind, okay, this demand zone could push price up. We need to break this low, and then we look for shorts. Didn't happen. So now what has happened? Okay, the bullish trend has continued. We've now seen that 4-hour break of structure. So we now expect further 4-hour bullishness, at least back up in towards this next zone over here of 107.035, and eventually, of course, a push even higher in towards that daily liquidity high at 107.993. So for the time being, expecting further upside from the dollar index. So moving on in towards euro dollar. So euro USD has pushed down beautifully pretty much on the daily and the 4-hour. So from a daily perspective, real quick, again, kind of like that ascending pattern, which you've also seen, of course, on the dollar index. Now looking at the 4-hour time frame, and sorry if my chart is slightly messy, but once again, you can see it. We have here the first high, the second high, and then the third high, tapping towards supply, and then a major sell-off. So these 1, 2, 3s work every single time. Keep that in mind. I've also created a video on my channel. You can look it up in the educational section. So now, of course, after 4-hour break of structure, we expect a pullback. We get the pullback from supply, and after that 1, 2, 3, we pushed in towards this demand zone. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, guys, this demand zone needed to, let's say, provide us with some kind of, let's say, bullishness and bullish activities and change the structure on the lower time frame. But we did not see that, because what I was expecting and what I was looking for was at least a tap below this liquidation low and below this range to take out the liquidity and get in towards this area of fresh demand. And that is what we did and what we're now located in. So we could see a potential uprise from today and tomorrow, with, of course, also the dollar index break of structure occurring. And after break of structure, what do we expect? We expect a pullback. Furthermore, looking at euro dollar, this is kind of the zone now where we need to see some bullish intentions start to occur from. Otherwise, I'll just be looking to short euro dollar further down in towards this area of fresh 4-hour demand, because for the rest, I'm not really liking what I'm seeing over here when it comes to demand. And then I do definitely expect further downside price action. But for now, what do we want to look at? We want to look at the 1-hour and the 15-minute, because these are going to tell us, okay, is price now ready to start pushing up higher, for example? So on the 1-hour time frame, and you can see this 4-hour zone, which I drew in over here. Let me just adjust it real quick, and then we go in towards the 1-hour. Then you can see, okay, we're located inside of this 4-hour area of demand. Well, on the 1-hour, this is then, let's say, your area of demand, of course. So we have kind of like that stacked zone. So from here, we do most definitely kind of expect a pullback. If we look at the 15-minute, which is, of course, our main structural lower time frame indicator, or whatever you want to call it, we have the 15-minute break of structure over here. So trend is still bearish from a swing perspective. And what now needs to happen is this high needs to break. So it's very unlikely that we're going to see a trade like a real nice long. Like, of course, we have the 15-minute break of structure now inside 4-hour demand. So what you could do is look for the internal structure break and trade the pullback. Because after a 50-minute break of structure, what do we expect? We expect a pullback in towards, let's say, this fresh area of supply, or this fresh area of supply, which lie in the premium of the overall swing range from this high all the way down in towards this low. So that is what you want to see. So wait for the internal structure to change, because that is kind of like the tail sign. Okay, we're going to start seeing the pullback up higher. So we need this high to break. Then we can start looking for those higher prices. And you can trade the potential pullback. It is the riskier play, but it is a potential trade that you can take, especially, of course, also with that dollar index breaking structure and now expecting the pullback, which should fuel a further move up higher on euro dollar. So that is that for euro dollar. If we break this high, then of course you can start looking for those longs high probability. From here you can also look for the longs high probability, but yeah, just keep in mind once we reach the premium, that's when we want to start looking for those shorts again. Moving on in towards Aussie dollar, so AUDUSD. Yeah, beautiful sell-off. Again, daily perspective, you guys know we were looking for sells the entire time. 4-hour was also bearish, looking for sells the entire time. Yeah, pretty much, yeah, picture perfect sell-off in towards the downside after tapping in towards, of course, the daily area of supply. Just missed out on this refined area of 4-hour supply. Yeah, liquidated pretty much this high and this high. So this high over here tries to take out this high, fails to do so. What happens? This high takes out both of them. So this is a liquidation zone, as we call them, a very strong area of supply now. So waiting for, of course, Aussie dollar to pull back and then to sell off further in towards the downside, in towards daily demand, located all the way here at around 0.61663. Moving down a time frame lower once again in towards the 15-minute is now swing, structure is bearish, got a break of structure over here. Of course, was waiting for this to pull back higher and then short from here. Yeah, didn't pull back high enough. So then when you see kind of like the momentum is this high, what you then want to do is that you want to get in on these smaller swings, for example, over here. So this, for example, was a beautiful setup that you could have taken because you can see that the bearish momentum is very high, and then you just want to be slightly more aggressive. Now, at a certain point of time, of course, when you get later into the run over here, then of course it's far lower probability to keep on shorting, especially now that we've had that 4-hour break of structure. It is very likely, of course, that Aussie dollar is going to start pushing up higher once again. So for the day ahead, yeah, pretty much what you now want to see. And on the 50-minute swing structure perspective, this is now kind of like your swing range from this high to this low, and we expect to pull back in towards the 50% mark. So now what we focus on is internal structure. So if we look at the internal structure, it's push down, pull back, 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 push down, push up, internal break of structure. So yeah, we've already seen an internal break of structure because this high got broken on Aussie dollar. So for example, if we pull back in towards this demand zone, look for a long, and then just take profit very aggressively at each and every supply zone. What could also happen is, for example, just a slighter pullback and then it starts pushing. Then of course just look over here, for example. Mark out these areas of supply over here, over here, over here, and kind of like use to trade in between them. So if a demand zone over here is created because this supply zone gets taken out, okay, fine, take a long, but then only just take profit over here at this supply zone. And then of course, once we get into that 50% mark, that is again when you want to keep your eyes out for those potential shorts, because we always want to be selling from a premium. So that is Aussie dollar. Moving on in towards pound dollar. I'm sorry guys if this video is a little bit long, but yeah, just a lot to cover of course today. Now moving on in towards daily. Daily is still bearish. This could be our pullback, right guys? This could have been our pullback from this high in towards this low. This could be your pullback and now further downside movement. Keep that in mind. Moving in towards the 4-hour, because the daily has seen a change of character. For the rest, not really that interesting. Tapped already in towards the demand zone over here, of course, saw a very strong reaction back up in towards supply. So the second time that we're now back in this demand zone, and the more often that we're inside the demand zone, the weaker it gets. So yeah, I mean, bearish momentum at the moment on pound dollar. So looking for potential shorts once again. Looking at 1-hour structure, we've now seen another 1-hour structural break. So a 1-hour break of structure, this low over here has now gone, meaning and I'm just trying to select the right one. Meaning that, of course, after 1 hour break of structure, we expect a pullback. So now look for supply to get hit, and I would be looking at this zone over here, kind of like with these liquidation highs to get taken out. So I'll be keeping my eyes out for a potential pound dollar short. I think we're going to start seeing for the downside, despite the 4 hour being bullish. I don't like it when we kind of like just chop around inside the extreme demand zone. We want this to be a strong reaction. We're not getting that, so let's just see if we can trade back up, and then we look for that potential short on pound dollar. Moving over in towards gold, of course, gold had a beautiful movement yesterday. What happened, pretty much very interesting price action if we kind of like analyze it on the 15-minute especially, or let's just stick to the 1 hour for a sec just to keep a good overview, because ultimately what you see is, okay, lots and lots and lots of liquidity being built up, kind of like on this trend line over here. You can see every single time the highs are getting lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. They're trying to take the previous high out but failing to do so. So what you then see is kind of like this whoop, rapid spike up, takes out all the highs. Then, so all the guys are now starting to buy, but then what happens? Everybody who has a stop loss below structure over here gets stopped out, but this stop hunt happens in towards this demand zone. So you could have looked at this demand zone, of course, for an entry, because we got that break of structure which I was talking about yesterday. So from a 15-minute perspective, remember guys, I was looking at a structural break of this high. You can watch back yesterday's video. We got the structural break of the high, meaning that your swing range, very beautiful, is now from this low in towards this high. If you change it into a, and again guys, watch how beautiful the 50% mark was responding. But if we draw in the Fibonacci, you can see perfect 618, pretty much aligned with this area of demand over here. So this entire consolidation range was your demand zone, and then you can see quick spike in, quick spike out. So very beautiful price action, and now expecting higher prices once again from gold. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's keep an eye on that. Going back in towards the 1 hour time frame. Let's see if we can, for example, get an entry on, let's say this demand zone over here at around 1980. So that would be a nice entry, for example, to look and trade gold up higher in towards the 2000 region. So yeah, guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bit of a long one, but I think a lot of valuable information. If you have any questions, just let me know, and let's see 2007 get hit next. Thanks, guys.